Hey everybody, I am here with Ms. Marisol Ramirez. She is a loan officer assistant here in the Irvine office, and we wanted to talk really quickly with her. It's going to be short and sweet and nothing to worry about. We're just going to talk about as a loan officer, what do you see that the loan officers can do better when they're starting a file? In terms of putting a file together, from a loan officer assistant perspective, with the loan officers who utilize you, what do you ask of them?
To be very thorough with the borrower, take a complete application. The more information collected up front, the better it is. The easier it is, the more accurate it is when you're structuring the file and
So,
getting that.
Ask questions.
You definitely ask questions. Then obviously confirm it with the documentation.
Read
Needed.
what's sent to you.
Exactly.
Don't just throw things in as they come.
Right. Don't, how can I say this? Be very thorough, as I mentioned.
You can be real with it. It's okay. We know there's a lot of loan officers who basically just grab stuff that people send them and throw it in without looking at it.
Right. It'll make everybody's job easier. Just be very thorough, as accurate as you possibly can be up front, just to make the entire approval process and make the processor's job a lot easier as well.
So what do you see as the loan officer assistant as the biggest miss that most loan officers are not doing from the beginning?
Depending on the type of file, actually I see a lot of loan officers missing small things such as, well, it's not very small, rental incomes, thoroughly reviewing the credit report, what else? Small ticky-tacky things on the application that are missed, but for the most part, basically confirming the information on the 1003 with the documentation given to you by the borrower.
So if somebody says, I make 15 grand a month, and they give you a pay stub, and the pay stub says 5, what then? Right? That's a problem.
It's a huge problem, and that's when the loan officer should also be knowledgeable in calculating the income before they take it to the next step. Don't ever take the borrower's word for it. Back it up with the documentation.
To prove it, right? And make sure you're reviewing it. Bank statements is a big one. I know for a fact. We all get really busy. I know that. I'm a loan officer too, so we all get really busy. Things just come in and we shoot them across and think that our job is done.
That's where a loan officer assistant comes in handy pretty much. Whatever the LO really doesn't have time to do before it hits processing, that's why you have your loan officer assistant there for. That way the loan officer can focus on bringing in the deals, making those relationships.
You make us look good, right, in terms of being able to have a complete file.
I try.
I have to say she does a good job. So I want to make sure that the loan officers who aren't utilizing an assistant, your suggestions to them, one, slow down, look at what you're sending in.
Exactly.
Ask a lot of questions. The more you know up front, the easier it is to address issues that may arise on the back end.
Exactly.
Right? My favorite saying is sometimes you need to go slower to go faster.
I agree.
So you need to go slow in the beginning, and everything else will flow really quickly on the back.
Just streamline.
So you see, you can speak to this in terms of turn times. So loan officers who put in clean files, how quickly are things getting closed, do you see on a normal basis? A clean file.
Yes, a clean file, everything submitted up front, structured as it should be, 2 weeks.
And that's without pushing, that's no rushes.
No exceptions, just doing it right from the beginning.
And the ones where you see people not doing everything from the beginning, what are you seeing in terms of turn times?
30 days.
Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can speak from my own experiences. When I put in a clean file, I'm closing in 21 days, super easy. No problems, no rushes, no nothing.
Sounds about right.
And my deals come out of underwriting very clean with minimal conditions.
Yeah.
Is that, you're seeing the same thing?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing, or yeah, initial underwriting review and clear to close.
Yeah.
So
That's good. In terms of setting proper expectations, what do you suggest loan officers do with their customers to set the proper expectations for a file to close? Like in terms of, you know, what would you suggest they tell them? What do you tell customers when you talk to them for a loan officer to set those expectations?
I give them a rundown of the entire process from A to Z. Turnaround times as far as every department reviewing the file, all starting with number one, the bar submitting all their documentation. So we're basically at their mercy when it comes down to streamlining the entire process. So they lag, we may, you know, there'll be delays, some lagging on our end, but for the most part, just be upfront with them as far as turnaround times and kind of throw the ball, have the ball in their court when it comes down to collecting. It all comes down to all parties participating and providing the necessary documents in a timely manner, and I go based off of that. Every scenario is quite different.
That's true. That's true. I like to tell customers, just my personal, what I tell people is the sooner you get things to me, the sooner I get things done.
Yeah.
And it really is up to you as the customer to be responsive when I ask for something. If I'm asking you for something, it's not because I'm trying to be a pain in the butt. It really is that I need that for whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish. So I think you're absolutely right in terms of setting expectations and being able to set those up front, right? Because at the end of the process, customers are kind of all over the place and not really as responsive.
Right, and they don't understand why it's taking so long. It's a case by case in my situation, so.
I agree. So what do you see that we can, I know we wanted to talk really quickly before we end everything, really quickly about the new e-consent, the new procedure. It's not new, but the e-consent procedures. Can you talk about that really quickly? I know Brandy sent out an email, but.
Yeah, basically once you're ready to disclose the file, loan officers or their loan officer assistant need to send out that e-consent for the borrower to complete prior to disclosures going out.
So best practice for that is, do you have a best practice for that?
I haven't started doing it.
Okay, so I can tell you what I do, and this is just my best practice. When I'm inputting a file to pre-approve, I get the customer's email address up front. I immediately send the e-consent so that when they find a property, they're ready to go, disclosures can go out. I don't wait for us to find a property before I send those, because they don't expire. You're fine. Sending them ahead of time, they're not going to expire on you. So
right.
If they do it and then it takes them 2 months to find a house, it doesn't matter because they've already signed the e-consent. They don't have to worry about that again. So we're already done. So when you're doing a pre-approval, get the email address so that you can start that process, hit the button in Encompass, and send out the e-consents.
Right.
Can you tell everybody where to find it?
No.
It's in the e-folder.
In the e-folder. E-consent, I'm sorry guys, I have not looked at the step-by-step manual. So I haven't even done my first one, but.
She just got back from a 2-week vacation, okay?
So
we put her on the spot with this. So in the e-folder, there is a button that says e-consent. You just click it and hit send and it goes out.
Oh.
So it's real simple. Super simple. Anything else you want to share with everyone in terms of front loading the process so that we can close loans more quickly?
Just collect everything up front. Get as much information as you can from the borrower. The more documentation submitted up front, the faster and it's not only going to be structured correctly, but your processor will be able to submit it through underwriting right away and even get you, depending on the file, a clear to close on initial submission.
Wow, that would be fantastic. I'd really like to see that. I'm usually waiting for an appraisal But other than that, that would be fantastic. Or I haven't locked the loan
Not
letter.
every file's like that, but you know, it happens.
Anything else you want to share with all of us here at Pacific Lending?
No.
No, you're all good?
I'm all good. That's pretty much it. Maybe on the next one, I'll be a little more prepared.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks, Marisol.
You're welcome.